say patience is a virtue, and that has been the name of the game for Bologna's rocketing form in 2025, which puts them fourth at the start of the weekend thanks to a nearly unblemished record of 8 wins, 5 draws and 1 loss since the start of the new year. They've earned the 3rd most points and 29 and scored the 2nd most goals at 26. And to break it all down, Marco, Grella, you've got kind of the method behind all these numbers, haven't you?
That's right. And the main man is Vincenzo Italiano. Many people, some maybe close by me, didn't believe in the Sicilian coach. Now we love him.
I didn't think I didn't put him where you put him, but I thought he was always a good manager.
But they thought he was crazy to take the Bologna job. Everyone thinks he's set up for failure because of the expectations that were there when Thiago Motta got them into Champions League. First time that they got there in 60 years. But I want to take a look at his career as a whole, because 7 years ago he was coaching in Serie D, and now he's getting them to nearly Coppa Italia finals and maybe again in Champions League, and he's never had a bad season. I mean, this is crazy. His first year coaching, he went from Serie D to Serie C. He went to Trapani, where he's from in Sicily. He got from Serie C to Serie B. And then his first year there, he gets them promoted to Serie A. And then we know what happened with Fiorentina, where he took them to 3 finals, 2 Conference League finals, and the Coppa Italia final, which he lost against Inter. And now, once again, doing better every single year. And it's because he's got this fresh mindset, a mindset that is not like the old school Italian coaches, where he wants to make teams play. He wants to make them have courage. He doesn't care who you're playing against. And you can see by the numbers that Papi just showed right now that his team is actually outscoring last year's Bologna, who had Calafiori, who had Zirkzee, who had Ferguson for the entire year. Yet he's getting more out of these players. So what do you make of this, Grella?
He's an Amazon stock. That's what he is. He keeps on going up and up and up. And if you bought him years ago, you'd be very happy. And like you say, there is no ceiling yet. I don't see the ceiling. He does have the negative that, sometimes he can concede it from nothing, or he doesn't manage moments in different games. That's fine. But one thing you get with Vincenzo Italiano, for me, which is the most impressive, is that his teams have a lot of character. They show a lot of heart. They show up to every match, and they give so much to it. The last game, obviously, Napoli against Bologna, I thought they were fantastic, and I thought they improved every single game that they've played so far. And it's an impressive style of football and an impressive way to interpret football. And he's one of the best managers out there, you got to say. And you were on that train for a very long time, but obviously now it's obvious to the world how good he is.
I went back and I listened to some of the interviews from his president when he was in Serie D, when he was in Serie C, and they say the first conversations they had with Vincenzo was, guys, let's not get relegated. Let's just make sure we stay in Serie D, Serie C. And then all of a sudden, by the end of the year, they were in first place. They had the most goals scored. So he's always overachieving. And I think in Italy, we have to say the truth, in Serie A, we don't have superstar players. We don't have it like La Liga and the Premier League. But what do we have? We have superstar coaches. And I think Vincenzo Italiano is part of that category. And it's also the improvement that he's had on players from last year to this year that I want to take a look at, specifically Dan Ndoye. Dan Ndoye has been phenomenal this year. He just gave an interview saying that Italiano has made every single player in the team better. He scored 1 goal all of last year. 1 goal. He's got 8 already this season. And it's because, as a winger, sometimes naturally you want to hug the touchline, but Italiano has given him freedom to cut in inside, to show off the skills that he had. And we saw the goal that he scored against Napoli was a world-class goal.
World-class goal, and for me, this is a guy who's grown, like you say. For me, the stats are great. I love the graphic, Rachel, whoever made it. But I will say,
now you're trying to suck up to
get it off the screen, though, because for me, if you watch this guy play, he does not lose the football. His risk-reward ratio has been fantastic. The maturity in his game to come inside and affect games, whether he's scoring or not scoring, the growth is there from everyone. And then what's also impressive, and this is Italiano effect for sure, guys who come in off the bench, whether it's Castro, Dalinga, Dominguez, really look good. They hit the ground running. They know what's expected of them. And I remember Italiano, when we spoke to him early on in the season, when they were having a rough patch, and we got him on that Zoom call, he was like, guys, listen, it takes time. We are where we want to be. We're going to grow from here. And boy, he's been on fire ever since then.
Absolutely. Orsolini is another one. He keeps knocking at the camera every single week because he should be called up to the Italian national team. But he's another one that when we look at his numbers and you look at what he was doing last season under Thiago Motta to what he's doing now, he's so much more clinical. And the big thing that I noticed with him is he's finally hit a level of consistency. Now, listen, for me, Italiano, it's not that he has a magic wand and he makes everybody better. It's also the players who have stepped up. And Orsolini says, I finally hit the level of maturity that I needed, while also the humbleness of, all right, this is where I should be. And that's why he's putting in these performances. But it's phenomenal. And I think you just made a great point, though. Even when he didn't have a great game against Napoli, it's all the teammates around him that stepped up to the plate, that allow him to do what he's best at. And you need a team at the end of the day to be an important team.
And one of the characteristics with Italiano's play is verticality and crosses. Every time under Fiorentina, they had the most crosses in the league, second most to Inter, actually. And then in Bologna as well, he's added the verticality. So imagine, they went from Motta, where it was passed side to side, low possession, building slowly, to Italiano that wants more faster, more vertical, more dangerous. And that suits Orsolini, and that suits Ndoye, and that suits these guys that play in the attacking positions, because he's been showing up on the weak side a bunch. He's been showing up on the strong side with the ball, with that in-swinger that he has, and with his obviously magical left foot. So this more attacking style of football does help out these attacking players big time.
The one thing I pray is that Italiano, I think sometimes we judge him by the expectations that he set himself, where Fiorentina should not have been getting to the points that they were getting at with the roster that they have. And then we say, oh, he's not able to win the finals. And I think this is the season where they are going to go to the Coppa Italia final. They've got this 3-0 lead over Empoli. This is their moment to win. This is their moment for him to finally lift the trophy for the career that he's had and for the team that he has. This is his time.
It would be a great story, but again, he's going to come against a Milan
Don't doubt him again.
Udinese at 4-0, or an Inter side that's been on fire looking for the treble. So
in a final, anything could happen.